Well, today it was a story about Jared Leto.
Leto.
30 Seconds from Mars. He's an actor, of course. And the part of the story, I wasn't sure what to be most outraged about.
Well, we've heard things about him before, like things thrown out to the the social medias where it's like, oh, he's a creep or he hit on me when I mean, just really small things. But this is a collection of 9 different women.
Yeah, no, that part of the story, I'll get to that in a second. But the first part was Jared Leto inviting people on a spiritual retreat so you can meditate with him and you can have this great spiritual experience. And of course, there's pictures of this group and he's wearing white robes.
Yeah, Kafkins.
What the fuck? He's a spiritual leader of some kind. What is his
cult leader?
Is his spiritual calling to make it okay to fuck underage girls? Is that what spiritual calling is?
Yeah, that's usually what a cult leader does, right? Bangs all the chicks.
You're right.
I mean, we've seen that forever. It always ends with banging all the chicks.
It does. So, anyway, somebody was looking at a series of photos from this retreat because people were, look, I went on this great retreat for Jared Leto. And the majority of the people on the retreat, gee, guess what demographic they're from?
Oh, wow. Let me guess. Young women.
Yes!
Wow.
Young women.
Yeah.
How about that?
Go.
What the fuck? Why, Jared Leto, don't you make enough money from your band, from your acting? You have to charge people $6,500 to go to your spiritual retreat?
It was the way for 30 Seconds to Mars to bond with their fans.
Yeah. Haven't we heard he's hung too? I hate to bring that up.
No.
But yeah.
Oh, really?
I think if you Google it, you'll find some stories out there. I saw it on Twitter. It must be true.
Well, I think if he's hung, I would think that we would know that because he would accidentally put up pictures of his dick.
Am I crazy, Mark? Have you ever heard that?
I have not heard that, no, but I'm looking for it.
Okay.
I have not heard that either, but how insane is Jared Leto?
Apparently Alexis Arquette is the one that said it.
Okay, all right.
I don't know why.
So there's
she would know.
Yeah. Did they do a movie where she played his mom or something?
No. Let's see. She said in a recent interview, I had sex with Jared Leto back when I was presenting as a male, and yes, it's not only massive, it's like the Praetorian Guard's helmet.
See?
So she could have been fucking around.
But Jared Leto dressed in white robes.
Yeah, cult leader. Drew, that's a cult leader.
He's praying and he's making all these. He's making the cross and all these people are behind him making the sign of the cross with their arms and he's of course about 10 feet above them. What? This is crazy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go to Beatles Island?
You would.
I would not go to a Beatles retreat to meditate and
really.
No, not for spiritual growth.
What if Shankar
floating 10 feet above you all?
What if Shankar was playing with George?
No. Hey, Ravi Shankar.
It'd be on the table, though. You could
buy
be
a sitar and bring it back.
Well, first of all, they would never do that because they're not scammers. This is fucking crazy. But then you find out that
it's kind of like the cruise ships, like the Kiss cruise, right? No,
but they play concerts. They play concerts. They do what they do.
Do they not play at Mars Island?
I didn't hear anything about the band playing there. Honestly, I didn't. In fact, I don't think it's a band thing. I think it's a Jared thing.
Well, he split the money with last year, yeah.
Because they're not spending $6,500 to get spiritualized with 30 Seconds from Mars.
They play. Well, at least last year they played 2 intimate performances, but then the other stuff is, it says to rest and regain strength with yoga amongst the trees, jump in the Adriatic Sea, watch a midnight movie, watch the stars, catch 2 intimate performances by 30 Seconds from Mars.
And maybe get hosed by Jared Leto.
Yeah.
So then they go on to talk about...
That's not even the bad part, I was going to say. Yeah, most of these accusations aren't even involving that.
Yeah, well, there's a 16-year-old who's at the Earth Cafe in Hollywood in 2006. Jared is with 19-year-old Ashley Olsen, his girlfriend. He's 33. The 16-year-old, who's a up-and-coming model, goes to the ladies' room. Jared grabs her by the arm. He's on a date with Ashley Olsen. Anyway, they have a quick chat. Jared gets her phone number. Oh, of course. That's interesting. Calls her days later in the middle of the night, invites her to his party. And she said, I didn't even have my driver's license. I couldn't go.
Send a car, Jared.
The calls keep coming. He always calls between 1 and 3 a.m.
Yeah.
16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And the conversation is, gets pretty sexual pretty fast.
He also uses a weird voice, doesn't he? I thought
Yes,
she said that
he speaks in a weird voice.
So you don't mean 1 to 3 in the afternoon?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
AM.
wow. Oh, wow.
And he asks weird questions like, have you ever sucked a dick? Anyway, she got pretty creeped out, had her mother listen to a couple calls, and her mother verified, yeah, it was pretty sick, pretty fucked up. But I noticed that in a couple of these cases, they quoted either the daughter or the mother saying, well, I really wanted to say something about it, but I didn't want to fuck up my daughter's career.
Yeah,
Sure.
Afraid if they start calling somebody out.
That was the model mom, yeah.
Model Laura LaRue, 16 years old. She's at an animal rights benefit, and 36-year-old Jared Leto is there too. Jared is staring at her so much from across the room, just right at her, that her mother even notices. But Jared Leto's staring at what the fuck is Jared?
What did you say? He was 33 at this point? She's
36.
16? He's
36.
36. Oh, jeez.
And so he eventually comes over, he gets her phone number, he starts calling her, starts emailing her. She visits the studio, he flirts, he teases. Then one night, I guess she's a little bit older, she's 17, and she said he pulled the nude move. Just comes in the room, nude. Which I gotta say, the nude move, if you're 37 and she's 17, that can be pretty effective. I know even what the girl said. She's like, I don't know if that's what adult guys do. I thought maybe it was normal for guys to do that.
No, we don't.
No, it's not normal, but
Yeah.
But if it's a much older guy
It's
and
also-
you're that young, you might think that maybe that's something guys do because you're dumb.
yeah.
You're 17.
Not to blame the victim, but it's also not normal for a person who's 20 years older to invite you over to his house. And
No,
be
it's
hanging out.
ridiculous. So let's see, another underage model who said a very similar story and a lot of questions like, so do you let any of the little boys you hang out with fuck you? He's trying to fuck these girls. Jared has parties, too, where young women are recruited through modeling agencies. So he doesn't invite his friends. He called... Excuse me.
The third girl, too, Drew, the one that he met at a club, which was an 18 and older nightclub, the kind where 18 to 20-year-olds go because you can't drink there. So he was there, which is kind of creepy that he's, scouting out women. And they hooked up at the club. But then she goes on to say, I went over to his house a few times, but it was really weird. I know people are kinky, but his kind of kink, it just didn't feel right. What is his kink?
I don't know.
You can't just leave that hanging out there.
Well, the nude move is one of them.
That's not
part
a
of it.
kink.
It's an opener.
It's just what grown men do.
Yeah, a lot of people have tried the new move.
Yeah.
So his parties, can you imagine, instead of just thinking, well, who do I want to come to my party? I want Mike, Mark, Brandon, some of my other friends, and,
we would
maybe
call
some
you
of their
out.
wives or girlfriends, whatever.
Yeah. I think we would call you out if we showed up for Drew's party and there was a gaggle of 16-year-old girls there. I think we would take a little bit of issue with that.
I know, how stupid is that? It sounds ridiculous.
Like, you babysitting tonight, Drew? What's going on? What's with the crew over here?
But isn't that probably why he didn't invite his friends? Because they go, Jared, what the fuck is going on here?
That was 15 to 1 was the ratio. There weren't many guys there.
They said that these model agencies, provided these girls. Jared, lead us party. You want to go? Oh, fuck yeah, I want to go.
Just like Rock Hudson.
So there's 60 girls and there's 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
4 or 5 guys. What? And they said some of the attendees said that the energy seemed to be directed to get the girls to skinny dip in the pool.
That's a move. That's a move. This is one of Bentley's favorite bands, by the way. I wonder if this changes anything.
Oh.
Isn't he? Remember that, Mark?
Yeah.
We used to make fun of him.
My wife loves 30 Seconds to Mars. She never asked to go to Mars Island, though.
It's got nothing to do with his music. It's just, I know this is just going to go poof. It's like, we read it today, and then tomorrow we're still thinking about it, and then in a few days, like, he's probably just doing his thing. Who cares?
Well, it
whatever.
depends how many more come forward, right?
Would you rather go to
I guess. Nobody said they were raped.
Would you rather hang out at Fire Festival or Mars Island?
Oh, Mars Island, because it actually happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just...
Plus, it's in Greece, right? I don't know. I forgot where it was. Croatia, maybe?
What happened to all the talk about power imbalances? And, it seems like they would mention power imbalances that were like, well, a guy working at a place and having a higher position than another girl, that's not really, they work together.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily if it's the CEO of the company who comes in once a year or
boss,
something. That's
yeah.
different. But, it seemed like they would even say, well, it's always a power imbalance. And they would say, basically anyone who had more power than the other person isn't it always a power imbalance? Isn't someone always of more power?
Of course.
But when you talk about this kind of power imbalance, this is a ridiculous power imbalance.
Yeah. But people have been writing about this stuff for forever.
And
You
nothing
think of,
happens.
James
Franco.
But these artists have been writing about it in their lyrics forever. You think of Winger with "She's Only 17," and Motley Crue's got some lyrics like that. Talking
Steven
about
Tyler
15-year-old
did it.
girls. Steven Tyler, yeah.
But this got to the point where this girl posted something on Instagram about Jared Leto, just something like, "So who hasn't been assaulted by Jared Leto? Raise your hand," something like that. Another girl said, 29 years of being a pedophile. When does this end? And under her post, she said, I was assaulted by this creep at 17. Anyway, she gets 50 responses that she, I guess, left up. And
well, if he's this brazen with this one, you gotta think there's hundreds of them.
One girl says, yeah, he put on this big show of really believing in me. How can... I don't know. I'd feel like such a fucking asshole.
You also had that other good move when the girl was 18. She was 18, and that's the thing. Looking through here, Drew, and what is a crime? What crime did he commit?
Maybe there's no crime, but he's a fucking creep.
But the 18-year-old, the one that he texted saying, "Do you like do any of the little boys that hang out with you? Fuck you." And that's the one that he walked over, pulled his dick out, and started just beating off and goes, "I want you to spit on it."
Oh, I didn't see that in my article, Mark.
When she was 18,
Read
the woman
on.
says his sexual overtones escalated. She describes an incident during one visit to Leto's home when, quote, he suddenly pulls out his penis and starts masturbating. Then he walked over, grabbed my hand, put it on him. He leaned in and said, "I want you to spit on it."
Oh, God.
So I'm assuming she did. I mean, she didn't say she didn't.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. But that's all she said about that story.
The last time I remember something like that happening, it was Louis C.K.
Yeah.
And remember how much he got punished?
And they were adults.
Yeah, and they were asked, hey, can I beat off in front of you? Which I thought was fucking weird as
Hilarious,
hell.
yeah.
But they were also there were comics that were much smaller in the industry.
Yeah,
Felt like,
yeah.
oh, boy, if I say no, it's going to be a bummer.
Yeah. I'd appreciate being asked. Like if you wanted to beat off right now in front of Mark and I, as long as you asked first, be all right. Yeah, the power imbalance thing is weird. I
always see people getting called out on it when I go, well, that's really, to call that a power imbalance. What are you talking about? This guy and 16-year-old models and 17-year-old models, and this isn't a humongous power imbalance, and he's been doing this for how many years? 30 years or something?
Yeah.
And nobody says shit?
Yeah. Well, is anyone going to say shit even when this article comes out, or is it just like he's in another movie next year?
Yeah, that's what I think will happen.
Yeah.